Yes, we are having this conversation today. Not only have I experienced dating a skateboarder, I've experienced dating two. And besides that, there's one other person that I dated that came from the fact that I was a skateboarder, but they didn't skate. And of course, there are 2 sessions of skateboarding I'm gonna show in this video today, but for now, let's just get into this conversation. I come from Columbia, South Carolina, and I was so into skateboarding that I never even really considered a relationship outside of high school. So one day I'm sitting at the local skate shop and a few girls walk in. One of the girls just randomly asked, "Are any of you John Hill?" As a joke, one of my friends said yes, but then I became extremely interested in what was happening. I was like, yeah, that's me. And she was like, oh, I've heard a lot about you. It was shocking to me because I never went out of my way anywhere else besides the skate shop and the skate park. So when there was someone in the skate shop who was looking directly for me, I'm an idiot, I became interested. That relationship burned out very quickly. She ended up being this very wealthy girl, and that group of friends were all these people who went to this super high class private school. So in a way, it was kind of them trying to be like rebellious and edgy by going into the skate shop and like mingling with the poor skateboarders. You'd think I would have learned my lesson from that experience, but I ended up dating 2 more people from similar situations. But before we get into that, let's watch some skateboarding at Tribeca Skate Park that I did this morning. Can you hear me? I feel like my microphone's not working, which is pretty lame. All right, I'm going for some front and side nose slide tricks today. I'm putting on my headphones so I won't be able to hear what I'm saying, so I'll probably say some stupid things, but let's go for some tricks. Oh, okay. So today feels like a decent front nose day. I'm telling you, some days it just works out better no matter what your skill level. So now I'm gonna take it to level 2. There's 3 levels. 2 is doing a shove out both ways. So I land regular, I land fakie, try the shove outs, and then after that we're gonna try the big spins if this works out. So let's do front nose shove outs. The 2 shove outs surprisingly fast. The second one was way harder. I don't know which big spin is gonna be harder, but I'm just gonna try both at the same time. The big spin will look like this. I'll be sliding on my nose, and then the board will spin like this, and I'll land like that. That's one big spin. The other one is I'm going like this, and I spin it this way. 2 big spins, 1 cup. Better. I could have come out a little smoother because you can tell that my wheels didn't really all land at the same time. Regardless, I did it. I'm so glad I'm walking away with every trick that I tried today. There were some I had in mind, but when I vocalize it, I have to do it. And I'm so glad all 6 of those other tricks worked out. It's a good day. Now I'm super busy, so I gotta go work on a bunch of stuff. As we were, so the first girl that I ended up dating was someone that I met at our local skate park. She came from a different city, but she was hanging out with basically all the skateboarders in Columbia, South Carolina. She had heard of me through the grapevine of skateboarders, and she was interested before I even knew what was happening. She was talking to me, and then of course, since I didn't go anywhere else, I didn't mingle at all, I just thought, oh, this is easy, I might as well just jump into a relationship at the local skate park. Little did I know that that relationship would last 2 years. 2 long years. So with her, she had a lot of life experience. She was an extrovert, she partied a lot, and I was just someone who kept to myself and skated and filmed, and that's it. So really, when I met her, it was cool meeting someone who was so different from me that I could maybe learn from, but the problem was I was learning to be a way that I shouldn't have been. I didn't need to be extroverted. I didn't need to have the relationships that she had. I didn't need to do how she did life and party the way that she partied. I didn't need that, but I felt like I needed empathy in that field and to understand it more. She could have just been the homie, which is how it should have been, but for some reason we dated, even though we were definitely more friends than anything else. After a year of that, I moved to California, only for that to return later on. In California, the same thing. There was this girl that skated the local skate park every day. I saw her pretty much every day, never talked to her once. I thought California is a whole different place. Like, I'm not gonna be the guy that girls at skate parks are gonna be looking for because I'm unknown here. In my hometown, obviously, I had grown as a skateboarder and become, you know, known for being the skateboarder in Columbia, but for California, nah. And I saw other people hitting on this girl who was clearly at the skate park just to skate and have fun, and it bothered me. I thought it was gross and creepy, and if there's anything that I've learned from the rise of girl skateboarding in general, is that skate dudes are creepy. Look at all the famous skaters on Instagram who happen to be girls. Look at their comments and how many creepy pro skaters and sponsor skaters are just like spitting game shamelessly. So because of that, when we actually finally started talking a little bit, she was immediately interested in like going on a date. Since I was new to the scene in Long Beach, I was like, well, I see people hitting on her, and I feel like if we started dating, then they would resent me for that. That's how my brain thought. Anyways, we ended up going on a few dates, and the first night we were dating, a guy who I really admired as a skateboarder saw us sitting in my car, and she just like looked out the window and he was like, what? He rolls down her window, doesn't say a word to me, and is like, so this is why you said no to my dinner offer? And I just sat there embarrassed like, well, this dude's never gonna like me or skate with me ever again, but that's how it is. Anyways, that literally lasted like 3 weeks because I am such a simpleton that my old skateboard girlfriend from South Carolina called me and was like, hey, I kinda wanna move to California, we should hang out. And sometimes to this day, I think, why did I say yes to that? I don't understand. I was in a new city. I had escaped South Carolina. Why did I want to bring a piece of South Carolina to California? And the reason is simple. It was so anxiety inducing being in this new world that I was looking for any sense of comfort that reminded me of who I was and maybe how people looked at me back in the day, because I was like nothing. In California, it was just brand new and scary, and I just wanted some comfort. And it bit me in the ass. Terribly. I mean, it got me. But before I get into the grand crux of how this all blew up in my face, let's show one more skate session because I just feel like I've been talking a lot, so skateboarding. Hello, human. A big portion of why I said yes to having an ex-girlfriend move to California to live with me is because I was broke and struggling. She was doing this online business and said, hey, you and I can partner up and actually grow this business together if you're down. So not only will you have a nicer place to live in, but you'll be in a safer situation and we can move forward from there. I had just started working construction and I've been doing that for a few months, and honestly, I was miserable. By the time I got out of construction, it's such physically exerting labor that when I was done, I wouldn't be able to skateboard. I'd go to the skate park and be so exhausted. I was in California to skate. I knew this was my chance of having a little bit of extra time and maybe having a friend in someone who, you know, someone I felt comfortable with that I could live with. Now keep in mind, she's from South Carolina. So when you move to California, where skateboarding is the most popular thing ever, you're basically like a kid in a candy shop if you're someone who wants to be around skateboarders. Anyways, that lasted for about a year, and by the end of it, there were such intense conflicts. We ran a business together, she moved to California and kind of ruined the scene for me, and we had just broken up. So we had to deal with all this at once. It was a very, very intense situation, but that's for another video. Long story short, we broke up, and after that I was like, I am never gonna date someone who's involved in the skate scene by any measure ever again. And truth be told, I was a huge part of the problem. I was way more insecure back then and way more of a try-hard, I guess, in the skate scene, and the whole thing was an embarrassment. When I look back to it, I'm like, not only were my choices terrible, but I was terrible. I was such a terrible person that anyone had to deal with. The truth is, as terrible as this sounds, I had never dated someone up to this point who actually inspired me, like at all. I felt like I was almost like slumming down in a way. Like instead of going skating and getting content and trying to grow as a person, I would be like, all right, let's go do this thing that's kind of boring and neither of us grow, and oh, you want to party? That sounds great. I would rather, you know, do anything else. But in South Carolina, I hadn't really met anybody that had inspired me a lot, so I just kind of felt like this was all there was. I was just the one who was like this psycho workaholic who wanted to grow every single day, and I just would have to settle for someone who was like that. Until, of course, I met Sarah Dici.
Guys, it's a beautiful day in Venice. Look at who I'm
Hey!
Oh my gosh, introduce yourself.
My name is John Hill. The truth is, up to this point, the people I had dated were people who had heard of me through the grapevines, etc. But this time, I was the fan of the person. When I had first seen Sarah Dici make a video about Casey Neistat and that video exploded and she got like 100,000 subscribers, I watched all that go down and I was like, it lit a fire under my ass. Seeing how well she made content, how much she was willing to put herself out there and like get such amazing footage and do such amazing collaborations with such epic people, I was like, I need to be like this person. And years later, I asked her to collaborate, and for the first time in my life, someone who I had a crush on seriously intimidated me, was someone that I felt like I had to work my ass off to even be seen by them. Which I didn't, of course. She's super nice, and I had proven myself up to that point, but that's a good feeling. There are relationships that you can get into where you sacrifice time and sometimes your dreams, because you wanna maybe have a family and you gotta like give up this and this and this, but I was now with someone who pushed me harder than ever to achieve my dreams and who had similar dreams. For the first time ever, I had a coach in my corner be like, you got this, all right, and who already knew the game and was like training me and pushing me like, you got this, and then vice versa. I'd get in her corner like, all right, let's go, let's do this, you got this. Oh, you're building a new startup randomly, you're starting a new project, a new podcast, a new video series. I mean, she murders it. And I finally felt like there was someone that not only was I excited to be with, but I was competing with in a fun way. Someone I could spar and train with every single day to become a better version of myself. I'm sorry if this is cheesy. It's just like when I go on this tangent, I'm like, I'm stoked. You know, it's such a beautiful thing compared to what my life was before. And that's also why I'm marrying her. With all this stuff happening, we're actually supposed to get married pretty recently, but I think we're saving it till next year, which is totally fine because, you know, it's a forever thing anyways, you know. I'll see you humans next time, every Tuesday and Thursday for a new video on this channel. Stay tuned to keep up with me in real time, also on Instagram at John Hill. All the links in the description down below. You can also check out a new Progress Daily video that we just uploaded. It's celebrities talking about skateboarding. You know, with this whole COVID thing, we're traveling a lot less, so I'm just trying to make fun content in the meanwhile, so I hope your faces enjoy. I'll see you next time. Stay tuned, Progress Daily, and keep killing it.